Welcome to another episode of the Force Diet Podcast. Wherever, whenever, and however you may be listening, we are honored that you've joined us today. On today's episode, we'll be covering season finale, Book of Boba, episode 7, In the Name of Honor, giving our breakdown, recap, the season as a whole, our thoughts, and whether or not we think there'll be a season 2. We'll follow that up with some recent Kenobi news, some recent casting reports, talk a little bit about the Old Republic trailer that just dropped yesterday for the Legacy of the Sith expansion, and wrap things up with some collectible and toy news. Jedi John has a new addition to the Jedi Temple, and we'll talk a bit about that. So sit back, relax. This is where the fun begins.
The Force is what gives the Jedi his power.
Why is the Force connecting us?
I am a Jedi.
Always two there are. We're a dyad in the Force.
And welcome to episode 22 of the Force Diet Podcast. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Jedi John. Oh boy. I guess I'm joined by Obi-Sean. I don't know what he's going to go with this time.
Well, I'm just Obi-Sean.
Oh, nothing. Just nothing.
I have no special titles tonight.
Gotcha.
I'm just an average man.
Oh boy. So got a lot to unpack this episode. Got the finale going for Book of Boba. Pretty exciting stuff happened during the episode. A lot of stuff that we predicted throughout the series came to fruition in this last episode. A couple things we missed. A couple things that
Maybe some of us didn't like.
some people might not have liked. But
yeah, talk a bit about that, and you know what we thought about the show as a whole, both with and without maybe the Mando episodes.
what are you talking about? That was the show.
I mean, that is part of it.
That's the
That is
show.
part of it. So you got to take it as the whole package, and then whether or not there's going to be do we think there'll be a season 2, and if so, what would we like to see from it? So
Yeah, all that and more coming
Yeah.
up this episode.
yeah, I don't think we have any sort of like pre-show pleasantries.
I know we passed Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and the Super Bowl
and the Super Bowl.
all in one.
Yeah, I worked for one, and then I, dealt with the other. So it was good.
Yeah, I mean there's not much to not a whole lot to share. I mean the Super Bowl itself was, I mean, unless you're a Rams fan or Bengals fan, it was pretty lackluster, right? And the commercials were decent.
We didn't get an Obi-Wan trailer.
No, but we did get a Ewan McGregor commercial,
We
which
did.
which I know some people joked about on social media. I did enjoy some of the. I actually, perhaps ironically, enjoyed the Disney Plus goats commercial with all the the Avengers goats, the Star Wars goats, even the Encanto goat. You get the Mirabelle goat. But I felt very nostalgic with some of the commercials. You had Austin Powers with Dr. Evil. You had the Lebowski Michelob Ultra trailer with Kepka and Manning and stuff like that. So it was almost like they're slowly running out of ideas and they're kind of starting to rehash stuff, which I don't mind. So yeah, I guess. And then the halftime show was, I mean, all nostalgia for for those of us in our 30s, and I guess probably those of you in your 40s
Yeah,
too.
you mean you brought back my middle school favorite artists? Cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah. So and then Valentine's Day didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, we played it pretty easy. Had the 1-year-old at home, obviously, so very, a lot of romance going on.
Nothing more
around,
romantic than a toddler
Yeah.
who's
really,
now walking.
Really, yeah, now walking, now all over the place. Now I need a leash. So we'll talk about that. I don't know if I'm going to sell my wife on that idea, but maybe.
You never know.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
either that or a cord, just a quick rip cord that I can just yank back like a retractable leash.
Well,
Yep,
right, exactly. I mean, well, or either that, or you need like an endless supply of caffeinated beverages to keep your energy level up, so
Yeah.
you can chase them around,
Absolutely.
because that's inevitably what you'll be doing.
Lots of more coffee.
So, shall we dive into episode 7?
Yeah, let's
In the Name of Honor.
In the Name of Honor. Man,
Go.
we know that it's we knew what was going to happen. We knew the war was coming, and we knew that that's exactly where we're going to start off this episode. And yeah, we're we lead off with the ruins, right? We get to the sanctuary, it's blown to hell. I mean, they're ready for war. They've got their people in places. They set it up nicely, They put somebody in every district. I mean, everything's just kind of good to go. He does get convinced by the mods not to go back to the palace and just kind of set up in his castle, because good strategy in war is to leave the most sheltered place you have.
With a gunship in it. With the gunship. Oh, and the rancor in it.
Yeah.
But the mods did do a phenomenal job of convincing him to stay. Basically,
The one
"Hey,
line.
you can't leave, and we're gonna stay." And he just kind of looks and he's like, "All right, you convinced me." Not a whole lot of persuasion necessary there.
Yeah, I mean, Boba is definitely one of those characters that we've seen now in this show. Like, he takes his honor very seriously. If he makes a deal, he's in it. Which is not something that necessarily we expected, but we saw it in Mando season 2, so I'm not sure why we didn't expect it. Because a lot of people out there were like, he doesn't owe anybody anything. They don't owe him anything either, really. They could have just walked away and been like, I'm not with him anymore, and turned on him just the same as the other families did later in the episode. So it was interesting that they all have this mutual respect and honor code for each other, when you wouldn't expect that from a bunch of scoundrels. And
Yeah, and I think it kind of harkens back to his time as a bounty hunter, and despite the fact that he's very individualistic, like self, I do stuff for myself, which we'll touch on at the end of the episode, but or at the end of this recap, in the end, you're still loyal to whomever you're working for in that respect too. So,
got to get paid.
yeah,
Got to get paid. Which Cad very easily points out, like, he used to do a lot of bad stuff, for the Empire.
and the comics tell us that we got the War of the Bounty Hunters comics to show us all that fun stuff too.
Yeah, and we look forward to having more time to talk about that stuff as we run out of live action TV shows again. So something to look forward to for all you comic fans out there. But yeah, we get the first Cad Bubba standoff. Really cool. Thought it was going to go down. I guess before that, we skipped the scene with the Pikes. Cad and the Pikes kind of get together, and Cad realizes that, Boba, I know something Boba doesn't. And he shows up with some information for a duel just to get a rise out of Boba and try to get him off on the emotional balance.
But
so
to get him
speak.
to engage, so he could just put him down and end it there.
And it would have worked. It would have worked, except for Fennec, the voice of reason, so to speak, in the Star Wars galaxy currently. Convinces Boba to stand down. Now's not the time, kind of thing. And we'll fight him on our own terms. Good advice, obviously, because, well, it seemed like Boba was a little miffed about the Tuskens being killed by the Pikes. So it changed his balance, so to speak. Took him out of the moment.
Right, and then we pivot to kind of a montage scene of the Gamorreans, Chrysanthemum, and the mods all getting ambushed by the three families. So you get that kind of Godfather betrayal moment, which I think everyone knew was coming at the end of episode 4, when everyone was like, yeah, we agreed to not get in the way. I'm pretty sure most of us knew that, and even Boba, I think, knew that he was going to get stabbed in the back. But you get poor Gamorrean guards. They get lemminged right off the edge.
Yeah, they just got pushed right off. That was not fun to see.
No.
That was actually really, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're really going to do this.
Yeah.
They're going to show these pigs flying off a cliff.
I thought something was, I don't know what I thought was going to save them, but I thought something was going to swoop in and kind of protect them from going over the edge. But yeah, not to
crazy.
be.
And with Santo, as we got the nickname, very nice.
Yep.
So Santo and the mods. I mean, I really thought that we might lose everybody. Like, it felt there was actually a chance of losing everybody, and we didn't know it was going to happen because none of these characters are obviously seen past these points in live action. So we could have lost everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know
except
who
for-
has plot armor.
Exactly.
In those moments.
The Beskar plot armor has dissolved around everybody except for Mando, really. Like, he's the only one that we were like, Mando's gonna make it,
Yeah,
because
he has to make it.
season 3 is coming. So, but outside of him, I mean, really, I mean, we could have lost all those characters. We could have even lost Boba, you know. Anyway, so we see them getting all ambushed. Boba really quickly tells Fennec, go find the pike where the pikes are at and kill them all. And it leaves Boba, Mando, and the Major Domo in the in the sanctuary.
The bombed out sanctuary.
As they're getting their position leaned in on by the pikes. So, we get that really cool moment with them. I'm sure I'm skipping some stuff in the plot, but
we're covering the important parts.
Yeah, as of now. I mean,
Right.
yeah, I mean, really, the other stuff just kind of happened while this stuff was all happening. Just it was shot in whatever order it was shot in. But you get that really cool moment with Mando and Boba where he's like, "Yeah, they made the right choice. It's what I would have done." Like. Previously, as far as the other families betraying him, because there's money in it for them in the long run. So yeah, they want to make money, and Spice gives them money. So they get that moment where Boba finally asks Mando, "So I guess you're leaving too?" And he's like, "Nope, I'll give you my word. I'm in it. I'm in it to win it, baby. I'm in it to win it.
Ride or die.
Ride or die." Nothing's more important than family. No,
That's right.
Shoot, wrong movie. But he.
I mean, it kind of felt like that though, in a way. I mean, even though they're not related, in blood terms or anything like that.
And neither one of them are Mandalorian.
From a technical standpoint, exactly. There's still that shared brotherhood that they do, where they do hold to the creed. He even asks, "You really buy into the bantha fodder?"
The bantha fodder.
The bantha fodder, and Manda's like, yeah, for sure, this is the way, and so. We get the Domo. They're getting ready to charge out, right? They're going to do this gallant last stand. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid busting out, going to shoot their way out. And the Major Domo's like, maybe we could do something else. Maybe we can negotiate a surrender.
Yeah, I'm really educated.
Yeah, he liked to point
doesn't
that
make
out.
me better than anybody.
Well, it kind
It
of
was
reminded
really
me
funny.
of the ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Yeah.
Like all the way back to Qui-Gon with Jar Jar. Like he speaks so well and so eloquently that it almost makes him sound more dumb because you come across as, I can't think of the word, but, it doesn't matter. But basically you try and make people feel dumber than, by speaking, you speak down
he's
to them.
condescending.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the word.
Yeah. Words are hard.
And they are hard, especially late at night. But the conversation between him and the Pike leader, he's all doing this elegant squeak, and the Pike. I just thought the Pike leader was going to up and
shoot him,
pop him.
Yeah. Well, and the thing was too, like you see Boba go over. Hold on, I'll write something for you. And I'm like, what is he going to give up? Like he's going to give up something. And then he just comes out and starts. Just get to the point, okay? You get nothing. Boba offers nothing.
That was hysterical. Because as he's scrolling, it's like you're scrolling on your iPad, right? And you're getting further into the story, and you realize this is not good. And he's completely put himself out there. That humor, kind of in the midst of all the tension, again, because you don't really know which way it's going to go. It's very on point.
It is, and he does a good job. I don't know. I forget the actor's name, but he's done a pretty good job the entire show. Like we hated him the first episode.
He's the character you hate, but that he's funny when he's
still funny
when they throw him in.
And he did a good job this episode, and he has another scene later with Polimoto. So it's really, I mean, really really good episode for the comedic actors in it. They get paired up later, and it's gold. But yeah, so they get you get nothing, and he's like, I'm just a messenger. But then behind him, you see Boba and Mando just jetpack in, and that was a freaking 10 out of 10 awesome moment.
That was fantastic.
Like, it's like everybody wanted that the entire season. We got it, and what I liked about it is we did get it, and we didn't get it all season. So it's one of those things like if you overdo it, it would be boring. It'd be like, oh, they're on their jetpacks. It was like Mando season 1 when he used his flamethrower every single episode or whatever, So I'm like, it's cool. You have that tool. Use something else. Do something different, please. But yeah, so I'm glad they brought out the jetpacks in a big way.
And we didn't just get it for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Like we got an extended scene of them flying back and forth, over and under each other, picking off pikes left and right. And it was just so satisfying.
It was so good. That whole scene was just so good.
And you get the knee, the
knee they pulled it all out
the
again.
knee rocket. I mean, you got everything. And it's just, it was the payoff that I think everyone was hoping, or at least one of the payoffs that everyone was hoping for. And we actually got it, which was, it's satisfying as a viewer, as a fan to kind of get that. So we get they're getting pinned down, getting shot left and right. I don't know who taught the Pikes to shoot.
They're not good.
I realize that they're wearing Beskar, and again, it's television, so we understand that
they
too.
have more armor than they're showing.
For the number of blaster bolts that actually are shot and do hit them, I mean, you figure one would at least hit a knee or a leg or an arm or something. But then.
Well, you know what the problem was? Boba probably killed all their sharpshooters on the train robbery.
That's probably true.
Because those Pikes were picking off Tuskens from behind hills from
they were from the speeding train.
Yeah, a moving train thousands of yards away, but now they can't hit Mando. It's just Stormtrooper syndrome.
Well, and so they're pinned down, and then all of a sudden, the folks from Freetown show up to kind of
save. A modded tank. It was like a little tank.
Exactly.
Sweet.
It was cool, and they get behind cover, and then we get introduced to the Scorpion droid, or the assassin.
Ah, yes.
The droidica on steroids, and which I saw on, I think it was on Twitter. It was in the Attack of the Clones art book. So like it was one of those like previously concepts that never got used, that they brought into live action, like so many other things that they've done so far. And I have to admit, when I first saw them and I saw the energy shields, I was like, why don't they just walk through it like we've seen happen in the past?
Yep.
And
these are upgraded.
Yeah, highly. Boba even uses his jetpack rocket to, and quickly realizes, that's not going to work. And so we begin the extended battle sequence, which takes up pretty much the last, 75% of the episode. It's a solid 25, 30 minutes of battle, pouncing all over the place. We get Grogu back in it.
During this time he lands.
He's
Peli.
here, and they're at the little rickshaw.
That was a fun scene too with the cart,
which was funny. And I feel like that's all Grogu is for now, is like comic relief.
Amy Sedaris though is hilarious.
She is funny.
Like when she showed up and he's like, "Go the other way." Right. Like, what are you doing here?
Look who's here. Like, it's just again, we talked about it just a minute ago. The comedic timing on certain things in the midst of such chaos was kind of funny.
It was good.
So on that one, so the rickshaw gets
they go away, and Boba
annihilated.
flies off and says, "Hey, I'm leaving. I'll be back."
Yeah, because he's like, we have nobody else to come help us. And so the rickshaw crashes. Boba catches Grogu. They have this very touching moment. Gag
in the middle of a
middle of a war
zone.
But at the same time, Santo shows back up.
Yeah, he survived it.
I couldn't tell if his costume was falling off or he was supposed to have a broken ankle when he's walking down.
I think he was supposed to have a limp of some kind.
Because like his foot is tipped up underneath his leg, like someone snapped his ankle
They're
off.
just trying to make it work.
So I was happy to see BK.
I would have been upset if he would have fallen and we got so little of him. Mm-hmm. So it would have been sad. So I'm glad he made it out.
Well, and it does open up the door for him to be in Kenobi.
Well, he would have.
Oh no, sorry.
He would have already been in there.
I'm sorry. Well, technically, he could still be in it, but I'm about 20 years.
Yeah, too late.
Too late.
On that one. But yeah, no, it was still exciting to see him. The mods made it out. We saw the mods make it out, with Fennec coming to the rescue. Boy, she's a good shot. But we get that chase scene, and they're getting backed into a corner, obviously. And instead of Boba bringing his gunship, which I'm still super excited that he started riding it, but he came in riding a Rancor. Like a bantha. No,
I saw the meme of the guy at the control panel, dabbing the sweat. He's got the two red buttons. One says, bring the Rancor. The other says, bring the Slave One. And he's just like, I don't know which one to pick, And there's so many moments in this episode. This is our King Kong moment, obviously. And you get the fun battle back and forth between the droid and the Rancor. I was obviously wrong that apparently Rancors are impervious to...
they can take some shots.
They can take some pretty hefty shots.
So can BK.
Surprisingly, yeah.
I mean, if Chewie only would have known, he could have taken blaster fire his whole life. I don't know. That plot armor is thick. I was surprised that he could take so much. Anyway, I was surprised the Rancor could take so much also, because Rancor got hit a lot.
Yeah. And the whole time Mando's trying to use the Darksaber, they're trying to figure out every way in, and they can't. But anyways, the Rancor is able to overpower the Scorpion droid, and then I forgot, how does the second one get taken down?
It's still the Rancor.
Oh yeah, he does both of them.
Yeah,
there's no creative. Well, I know Mando chops off one of the arms and.
Yeah, Mando gets in on one and takes a Darksaber to his head, but doesn't take it down.
Right. I felt like the battle was
because Grogu catches the second one before it kills Mando.
Oh, that's right. And rips out the bearing out of its leg.
Yeah, and then the Rancor comes through and just destroys it.
I totally thought we were going to get a Luke in the hallway scene with somehow Grogu just force crushing him into like an aluminum can.
Honestly, that would have been awesome. Like if he would have force crushed a Scorpion droid, I would have been like, I'm here for that.
Because we saw him do it on the training remote.
Right.
So you mean it's not that far of a leap that he could somehow have honed his skill to force crush. That would have been cool. That would have made including Grogu in this episode totally worth it. Instead, we get Chris Pratt taming the Velociraptors.
I mean, yeah. So Boba got launched off of the Rancor by Cad. Cad was not very nice to the Rancor.
He sprayed the fire in his face.
Does every bounty hunter have a fire fire spray on their wrists? I don't know.
And then Mando forgot to use his when the Rancor tried to eat him.
That's amazing. Anyway, Cad
throws Boba off.
Yeah, kind of throws him off. So the Rancor starts going crazy, and we get our standoff that I really didn't think we were going to get because I thought we were going to get more Cad, but and we all knew it was going to happen once Boba hit the ground and Cad was talking too much.
He monologued.
Why?
You sly dog! You caught me monologuing. It was a total syndrome moment from The Incredibles.
Yeah, but it was cool duel. I mean. He ends up beating. What's funny is I had to go back and watch it again because I'm like, when did Boba get his gaffy stick? And then he had it
on him
on the Rancor. He had it, but he didn't have it before that.
Right.
So not only did he go back to get the Rancor, but he also saw the gaffy stick laying on the wall, and you're like, you know what? I need that too. Well, it was just some of the choices are just like it's almost comedic, but at the same time. That's the way they wanted the story to go, and it still worked. It's not like it didn't work. I was just like, why would he have his gaffy stick with him with all these other weapons that he has? Anyway.
Well, and the back and forth between Cad and Boba, it called back to their time together in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
With him as a boy. So post Kamino, post Jango, but post Jango's death on Geonosis, and for those who haven't seen the Clone Wars cartoons. Young Boba runs with Cad in the cartoon for a handful of episodes.
Basically shows him the ropes.
Exactly. And then Boba later takes the mantle of being kind of the most feared bounty hunter, and everyone knows the rest. And so that exchange that personal like exchange between the two of them, again, for those who are familiar with the backstory, was really well written, and made the you look out for yourself. Anything else is weakness. And again, the whole monologue thing, it's like he had the gun pointed at his face for a solid 10 seconds. But the subsequent gaffy stick attack was really well choreographed. It was really
awesome.
well done.
It looked great.
And it was nice to have that come full circle with the Tusken element to it.
It was cool. I mean, it was cool. And we saw some blinking lights still, so Cad's might not
dead. He's not dead.
I don't think he is either. We didn't see his droid come out, so he might just fly down at any time and be like, probably get yelled at first, but then save him.
But yeah, I mean, his heart or whatever, his life support system was still beeping.
Yeah.
I expected it to go beep, 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 and then the beeping to stop, but it kept going. So clearly it happened for a reason.
Yeah, Toto 360 will come down. He'll swoop down.
You think they're still hanging out?
I would think so. I don't know who else that droid can go annoy.
Only if it's Seth Green voicing it.
Honestly, if it's anyone else, people are going to be upset, so it better be Seth Green. But we get that cool moment. Cad's done, out for the count.
Rancor's on a tirade now.
Rancor's on a tirade, and everyone's afraid of him for a good reason, because it's a Rancor tearing down the streets of Mos Espa. And Mando, tries to tame the beast himself, tells everybody to stop shooting at it. Goes up there, tries to get on the reins. It doesn't go as well for Mando as it did for Boba. And
it's way different than a blurg.
Yeah. Boy, does he get thrown off pretty hard. I mean, that Rancor had its way. And there was a few cool Rancor moments I do want to just sit back on real quick with Boba. Like the time when the Rancor picked up the pike, let Boba shoot it, and then threw him. Like, threw him. I thought that was freaking
And we got
awesome.
the Wilhelm scream, which was
yes.
fantastic.
And then we saw him eat a couple, like, hey, all good things from the Rancor.
It was a very satisfying entrance for the Rancor. It wasn't a kind of hit and run. Like, it was an extended thing, and like I said, you got the King Kong moment of him hanging from
They climbed up to the
tower,
tallest building
and was holding Mando. It was very King Kong like.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun with the Rancor, I thought. And now I'm really mad about HasLab not coming through. So for all you people that could have backed,
it's like they knew it was coming.
It's like Hasbro knew something big was coming with the Rancor, even though they were pitching us the Return of the Jedi Rancor. So it's not, it wouldn't have been the same one, but come on.
You could have played with it the same way.
Come on.
Right.
I mean, I could have had Boba riding a Rancor in the Jedi Temple here. So, like, cool. Anyway, not happening. We'll get back to HasLab a little later. But overall, I was really happy with the Rancor scenes. Grogu comes in to save the day, tames the beast with the Force, puts him to sleep. It's a common Force trick, and then he curls up next to him. Like a kid cuddling up next to a dog, except the dog is 40 times your size.
No, it's like a kid crawling up next to a silverback gorilla, and then sleeping next to it, feeling safe in its presence.
Yeah, but cool scene. We got some extra people from Newtown that had a little more FaceTime.
Freetown.
Freetown.
We have our own Newtown.
You're right. We have a Newtown around here, and yeah, I don't think they're free.
No.
So, my bad. Freetown, yeah. But good stuff there. Just got to see them take over control. Like, they got the high ground and started taking out all the pikes. They're good shots over there in Freetown.
And then everyone got upset about the spin move. Did you see?
Yeah,
did
the
you
spin
see
move
that?
from the main mod. I mean, why? Who cares? I mean, just let him spin.
I don't
That's what you're gonna complain about this episode. I mean, you're gonna find something, so you might as well pick on that, right?
I mean, there are other things to be critical of. Legit critical of. I mean, spinning in the middle of the street and taking a shot at the pike. I don't think is one of them. I mean, Anakin, pioneered spinning for no reason. He said, "I'll try spinning. That's a good trick." So, and nobody made fun of him for that because, you know, he
They
was
do
a
make
child.
make fun of him for that.
Did they make
though.
fun of him for that?
The people do.
But yeah, I mean, because you got the whole, that's the thing. Like, there was the whole mod Freetown conglomerate, you know, trying to do their own thing off on the side. And so that's what the extended battle scene, the extended battle in general, you've got a lot of moving pieces, a lot of overlap. You know, they were cool scenes. But again, does it advance the plot? You know, leave that up to you. But yeah, so we get the taming of the Rancor, the taming of the beast, and then we get the sort of the end scene with.
Did you see Amy Sedaris lost a tooth in that scene too?
Yes.
She lost it, just spit it out, and just
Yes.
kept going. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then you talked about the comic, the comedic
the comic relief, yeah.
between the major domo and her.
His bench his cover gets blasted, and then it's just get out here.
Come out here, head tails or whatever. I forget what she called him.
Ah, yeah, head tails, yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
oh, nice head tails. That's what she said.
that was it. Yeah. So I mean, we the battle ends. The Pikes retreat. You know, it's a win. They win the battle.
And then you get to see Fennec just.
Yeah, that was the thing. So the finisher or the last scene, like the last relevant scene, is back in the Pikes headquarters. The mayor is there, the Ithorian, and you have members from the Transoceans, the Clatunians, and the Aquilish groups talking to the Pike leader, and the Pike leader's like, yeah, we're this is no longer a profitable thing for us. We're just going to take off, and obviously the three families, you know, they're like, you can't be leaving us behind. We just threw all of our people out to help you. Doesn't matter because they get picked off one by one, which I'm guessing she shot through the roof.
Yeah,
opening.
That's what I'm guessing, or just through the roof. Period. Because probably, I mean, you know, on some of their weapons they can see through wall. Like
You have the heat sensors.
Yeah.
Because I was confused why they were looking so confused when there was one sort of skylight thing. But nevertheless, you end up with the Pike leader left, and he gets totally shanked in the back. And for me, I feel like that really just killed season 2, because now, you know, where does it go? You know, because we pivot back to sort of a renewed Mos Espa. It's being rebuilt. All the people are saluting Boba now. Boba has earned the respect. He is clearly in charge. Apparently, he has to wave with his right arm, and his right shoulder is really bothering him. There's a back and forth between Fennec, and I can't remember exactly what was said as far as, you know, now what do we do sort of thing. But it kind of ends there.
Yeah, because Boba's like, this isn't a life for us, and then Fennec gives him the, if not us, who. And I'd be surprised if Boba stays there a whole lot longer. He'll probably pass it on to somebody. But I do want to see him continue to work with Santo. I just think that'd be awesome.
Right.
And I know, I mean, end goal, I'm sure we're going to see these guys in Mando Season 3. I don't see a reason why we wouldn't. The way that they're writing everything is they're all going to be connected, and they're all going to overlap at any moment, any episode. So we'll see how long he stays there in charge. But he's like, he kind of wanted it, but now that he's got it, he's like, the grass is always greener, my friend. The grass is always greener.
What's the next challenge, basically?
Exactly. So I'm curious to see what he ends up doing, but I'd love for them to get more into the crime families and stuff like that, but I just don't see it necessarily happening.
Well, then the closing scene, we're back in the Naboo starfighter.
Yep.
Flying through space. Grogu, unsurprisingly, fills the spot that everyone knew that he would fill. Is tapping on the glass.
It is cute. I mean, come on. If you have a kid in your life that continuously asks for more or
That's
do it
not
again,
cute.
it is. It's not. It's not, but it
cute.
is. It is, but it's not. Depending on how many times
I love
it is.
my son, but when my son asks me the same thing 12 times in a row,
Yeah, it's not cute anymore.
it's not cute anymore.
That's very true. Especially if it takes physical effort from you to do whatever it is, right? But it was awesome, like, because Mando, you hear the frustration. Like, no, we're not doing it again. okay, one more time. It was really funny. Then he takes off. So, and that's where we end the scene. So I mean, we knew that's kind of how it was going to go. Overall,
What would you give it?
I mean, it's like an 8.5 for me, like 8 to an 8.5. I was really excited about the Rancor. Like that was really exciting for me. Poor choice in my opinion, but I was really excited to see it because you should have brought your gunship. That's just my opinion. But and we saw the maneuverability of his ship with the Rancor stuff. So like he can get in close and take some shots if he wants to.
I wonder which would have resulted in less collateral damage.
I don't know because the Rancor,
The Rancor
did a lot.
tore some stuff up.
And you don't see anybody complaining about that. It's weird. But yeah, probably an 8, like an 8.5, 8 to an 8.5, somewhere in that ballpark. Just because there was some stuff I would have rather seen, but overall, pretty good episode. I was happy with the finale. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the jetpacks were just freaking awesome. So like the entire fight, and with the comedic relief in the middle, like I mean, it was really well written and really well done. I felt like so.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.
That's fair.
Maybe like I'm gonna give it like a 7.8 to 8. For many of the reasons that you said. I personally was not a fan of having Grogu in this episode. I don't know what he brought to the episode. You know, I don't know if it was meant to add an additional level of peril for Mando because now he's got to worry about Grogu, which I mean he did, right? That was part of it. He was worried about him being getting hurt, and he had the
first scene they were in. He had to save it. He had to catch him.
He had to jetpack off and catch him. I mean, he did have the Beskar armor on, which he's like, "Oh, you put the armor on," and we'll get into this in a second. But I'm gonna say like a 7.8 to an 8 for me.
Yep.
7.7.
Oh, for IMDb.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by that.
And I think part of it has to do with the battle itself was, I feel like it was extended longer than maybe was necessary. I mean, that could be argued. Certainly, it could be debated. The Cad Boba scene was great. Oh my God, I feel like they could have done more with that to like maybe extended it or made it more of a fight as opposed to him getting knocked off the Rancor and then Cad just standing. Like there was no battle.
That's kind of like what Cad does, though. He's a dueler. Like he doesn't like. We've seen him square off with so many people. It's not going to be a true fight with him. He's just going to duel. Like he very rarely gets his hands like in the middle of stuff,
That's
like
fair.
he did with Fennec in the Bad Batch. But like before that, like shot down Hunter. Like I mean, he's the duel kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back to Clone Wars stuff. I mean, there are more extended fight scenes, including him. He's obviously no spring chicken. At this point, he's in his 70s. I think someone did his age. At this point, he's in his 70s. So certainly he's not as nimble. I get that. I just feel like they could have done more with Cad.
I think they still will.
I hope so. I hope they do. I mean, they can obviously do a show before this. Like, what is he doing during the Empire?
I'm just
during
saying,
all
we
that
didn't
stuff?
see his body burning.
Correct. I mean, I honestly don't think he's dead. But the scenes with the Rancor were fun. Again, you get the extended Rancor viewing. Jetpacks, 10 out of 10. Would watch again. So yeah, I mean, overall not bad.
I think the big thing with Grogu coming back this episode was just to set off into Mando 3. I think that was the biggest thing. Like,
but you don't need that.
Well, you put them together right now. That way they can just start together right away, and there's no killed time in the Mando season 3. Because let's face it, like it's gonna be packed. Like we're gonna go to Mandalore, and I can't wait.
But why does it, so? All right, so before we talk about, maybe next steps or what we want to see, what would you rate the season as a whole?
Oh, I knew this question was on the list tonight, and I just was dreading it.
Mm-hmm. And that includes everything. So don't pick out the episodes and everything. Just as a balloon show.
As a show, I enjoyed the show, so I'm gonna give it like an 8.5. I still wanted more Boba. I think that's. I mean, it is what it is. It's my opinion. So like, I wanted more Boba. So 2 episodes full of Mando wasn't exactly what I wanted or needed. It was great episodes. I think there's probably, if I'm not mistaken, there's probably the 2 highest rated episodes of the series, which for good reason. But why didn't we get that kind of stuff for Boba? I don't know.
Yeah, 9-3 and 9-4 respectively for 5 and 6.
And I'm not surprised by that. Like there were some sweet scenes in those in those 2 episodes. But overall for the show, like 8.5. If I would have had more Boba, it would have been a little higher, a little bit more action here and there. I knew I knew it wouldn't be everything, all action all the time. I didn't expect that, but I expected more Boba. And I mean, I think it goes back to the whole thing too. Like he's no spring chicken now. Like I mean, that rancor really affected him and his body, obviously. So Fennec did a lot of work for him this season, which I was expected. And then I mean, overall happy with the series. Hopefully we get a season 2, and hopefully it's more focused on what Boba, Santo, and Fennec can do together. Most likely off world, I would think.
Yeah, I hope they leave Tatooine if there's a season 2. One thing we didn't mention was the post credit scene or mid credit scene of Vanth in the Bacta tank, which is alluded to. Someone's already using the Bacta tank because Fennec says, "Why don't you go rest in the Bacta tank?" And we see the mod getting ready to work on Cobb. Yeah. I saw some really funny memes. Robo Vanth, Robo Cobb.
RoboCobb is hilarious. RoboCobb's really good. Honestly, that might be the person that's going to take over for him in Mos Espa,
which I could get behind.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, Timothy Oliphant is. I pretty much enjoy everything that I see him in, so I would not be upset with the Marshal taking over Mos Espa.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
But yeah, as a series as a whole, I'm going to give it probably B-. So I'll give it an 8. There were certain things that I didn't understand from his character development. So we get the backstory with the Tuskens and everything like that, and then we're in Mos Espa, and I don't understand his motivation for really anything that he's doing. It's not really conveyed. Well, why is he? He wants to run the city, but he wants to run it. He still wants to get paid. Right, so he's still kind of running a racketeering sort of thing. He still wants to get his tributes, but the second there's actual crime involved, he wanted to do it when he was part of the Tuskens, but now that he's in charge of the city, he no longer wants a part of the spice money. So that whole change in perspective in such a short time frame doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me for his motivation, because if he's meant to be a crime lord, which is essentially kind of what he's supposed to be, I suppose. He wants as little to do with crime as possible, and he's not really dictating it or allowing it and then taking a cut of it the way that I would expect him to, the way that Jabba did. Jabba didn't care as long as he got paid, right? And I guess Boba's the same way, except he didn't want to get paid for it. At least when he was in charge of the city.
Well, I think a piece of it is the fact that for the Tusken situation, I think he knew that the Tuskens were not going to take down the whole spice trade. That wasn't going to be possible for them. Mm-hmm. So he probably was just trying to get them a cut for letting them pass the same. I mean, that's something for the Tuskens that they can just have, because he's not going to always be there, obviously. So,
but he had more muscle with the Tusken tribes than he did in Mos Espa. I mean, he had 5 people, and only 3 of them were probably well trained in shooting and everything like that, right? I mean, the mods were great spies and informants and stuff like that, but they weren't soldiers. They held their own, I suppose, but they're not Santo, they're not Mando, they're not Fennec, and so at least with the Tuskens, they were warriors, they were trained and everything. Anyways, I didn't really understand his character progression.
Yeah.
That was not really well conveyed, and maybe the plan is to explore it more in season 2. It's just the 2 episodes that had Mando in it, which were so good, I feel like they could have used that to flesh out why is he doing what he's doing? Why is he acting the way he is? Because I think that for so many people, that was the most disappointing thing, was they had this vision of who Boba is or was, and then he's this pillowcase. You know, he's soft, right? I mean, the most intensity you see is him as a Tusken, well, with the Tuskens, and then him against Cad. In between, there's not a whole lot of intensity. And so what prompted him to go from that intensity with the Tuskens to being more docile, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So for me, that's kind of what knocks it down. Again, the Mando episodes were great. Didn't really do much to advance the Boba story. Maybe that wasn't the point. Maybe it wasn't meant to be a Boba show.
I said it a long time ago. I mean, I said that the point of this is to make sure that they pass the torch and set up Mando season 3. Even though the torch has been passed, really. I mean,
and if that's the case, okay, fine. But then it was clearly missold, which is probably worse. To sell it as, hey, it's going to be a Boba Fett show, and then, just kidding. This was always just to set up Mando season 3. And it wouldn't be the first time that fans were lied to or misled. But I think, again, with such an iconic character, we've talked about it before. He's your favorite. He's, dozens of times over. You've got his memorabilia, his helmets and stuff like that. For so many fans of Boba, it just kind of feels like y'all were cheated out of something that could have been really, really good.
Well, at least 2 episodes. So yeah, yeah. No, I agree, and I mean, like I said, like 8.5. That's, I mean, for me, it's still like, and I get flack for this all the time, and that's totally fine. But like, it's still Star Wars. Like, it's still Star Wars for me, and I still enjoyed the series as a whole. Did I want other things? Sure, but I still got a really good show that sets up more character stuff for another character later this year that I know we're gonna enjoy also. So that's why. So that's me, and I am critical of things, and you know me, like, especially when we all of a sudden we had the first episode with Mando. I'm like, so no Boba.
Second episode, he's there, but he doesn't speak.
He doesn't speak. Yeah. So it was there's frustrating times, but overall as a show, like, excellently done. I look forward to more. We got some cool characters introduced, and I mean, that's a win.
Yeah,
So.
I totally agree. And the Star Wars is Star Wars, and I don't know that I could ever hate. I could strongly dislike something. I could strongly disagree with many components of something, but I don't know that I could ever hate something Star Wars.
Like I said earlier, I can poke fun at the fact that we chose a Rancor over a gunship, but I still love the Rancor scene. So, like, I'm not going to take that away from anything, but I'm like, there's fun to be poked. I mean, and that's fine.
Yeah, and that's, I think that is, there's a difference between being critical and in a constructive sense, and then just pointing at something and saying, this is stupid, why did you even consider, like the spin, for example. Just, I saw people talking about it on Twitter. I didn't even know what they were talking about.
Yeah, because it's literally, it's a 2-second thing. The dude spins and
I
makes
didn't
a
even think.
gunshot.
I thought nothing of it when I saw the scene. I was thinking, okay, cool. It's a stylized shot that we've seen dozens of times over. I mean,
maybe that's how his eye works.
Or yeah,
I mean, come on.
Exactly. And so I think if you're looking at character development or lack of character development or lack of character inclusion, like we did with Bad Batch, where Fives and Tech were just, what were the points? There was no character expansion.
Echo
there.
and Tech. Sorry.
Sorry,
You said
Echo, not
yeah.
Fives, not Echo. Sorry, not Fives.
Yeah.
Echo.
Yeah.
Sorry, Echo and Tech.
I had to think of who you were talking about. I'm like,
Yeah, not Fives. They all look
good.
the same. And they all sound the same too. It's weird. But
oh boy.
But yeah, but similarly, like I think if you can be constructively critical of certain aspects of the show, I think that's healthy. I think that's how discussion should occur.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't really get that much. It's either, I love it and it's the greatest thing ever, or I hate it and it's the worst thing ever.
And then if you say that somewhere, the next person that comments on it is, you're wrong. This is why, and this is why I think the way I do. But you're wrong. You can't enjoy it the way you want to.
Right.
Because you're wrong.
Exactly.
You remember that.
And that's the thing. Like, for people who loved this last episode, awesome.
Great.
That's fantastic. And for people who hated it, cool. That's your thing. Were there things that could have been done better in the series as a whole? Certainly. But overall, I mean,
it's pretty good stuff.
it was good. I mean, like, you can't say it was bad, and that's a win. I think overall that's a
And
win.
even if you hated every single episode, like let's say you really did, you hated every single episode except for the Mando ones, you can't say it's bad then because you got 2 episodes that you were like 10 out of 10 on. So it can't be bad if you get 2 out of 7 episodes, 10 out of 10. Like, come on.
It averages out.
It averages out somewhere, right? Anyway, but I think that's going to close it out for the Book of Boba for us. I mean, we hope we get a season 2. Hasn't been announced yet. Wish it would have been. And like I said, if it doesn't get greenlit for season 2, it's because we're going to see all these characters in Mando over time. So still would be awesome to see season 2, but we'll see what happens. And the other thing is, there's a good discussion about it, but do you think the Marshal got rewritten into
into surviving, or
no? Well, no. I mean, obviously he's going to survive, right?
right?
So was there a rewrite on the future show? Oh my gosh, which one? The New Republic show. Not the
Rangers of the New Republic.
Yeah. Was there a rewrite? Because originally that story was going to be based around
Cara
Dune. I don't know if that's still going the way they want, obviously, because
but Cobb, isn't a.
He had the stripes. Right. I mean, he had the stripes for the Marshal, so technically he could become a Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they could. It wouldn't necessarily be in the original, through the original lens,
right?
Like, they would probably, maybe they make it more Western, have a more Western feel, which again would be cool. I mean, Star Wars to some extent is a space Western, so. But yeah, if we get a season 2, I hope that they, like you said, focus more on the crime families and expand. Let's get let's visit Nal Hutta. Let's.
Oh, you want to visit you want to go to a new world?
I would like to go to a new planet with that isn't wherever Luke is setting up his Jedi temple.
That's fair. But yeah, overall good stuff. But we got to keep it moving.
Yeah,
man, we are.
Well,
rolling.
I mean, it was the season finale. It deserved and a recap, so it deserved a little extra time. So jumping into some quick news and notes, we did learn yesterday that Jimmy Smits is being cast as Bail Organa, or being brought back as Bail Organa in the Kenobi series, which is awesome.
Gonna have to de-age him a little bit, I think.
A little bit, but hey, they've gotten lots of practice at that with with Luke. And I think what it means, what's really cool is, and there's been reports about there already being a young Leia cast from last summer, but I think it means that we get Kenobi going to Alderaan at some point, and him at that point learning that Leia is Force sensitive. And that's how, because obviously Obi-Wan knows that Leia has Force sensitivity, unless he sensed it when she was a baby. That's unlikely, because she probably wouldn't have had, she's not developing anything at that point. So there's no reason to bring back Bail without Leia, in my opinion. And there's no reason to bring back Bail if you're not going to, because Bail's not going to seek out Obi-Wan on Tatooine. He's supposed to be in seclusion. We know that Kenobi's going to bounce around to a couple different places. It would make total sense to have him go see his old friend on Alderaan, which would be cool, because that would be the first time we ever see Alderaan like
on the
on
planet
the
surface.
planet
Yeah.
surface. You're right. Yeah, right. It's well, that's not true because we do get it at the end of Revenge of the Sith, because they shoot that scene at the very end
yes.
where he takes Leia back.
Just a glimpse.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
a glimpse.
So if we get a bit of extended time on Alderaan as one of the planets of interest, that would be cool. So, do you see him as doing anything else other than that?
No, Kenobi's just gonna sit in his hut and talk to Force ghosts. No, Alderaan would be cool. I honestly think that bringing Bail Organa back into the fold for that show will probably have him doing favors for him. So he might be searching for other Jedi also.
So, does Obi-Wan know? Well, I guess Obi-Wan does know where Yoda went. Because I know Yoda tells Bail into his seclusion he goes, and I think he probably tells him that he's going to Dagobah. But, I'm trying to think what they can squeeze into 6 episodes. You know, do we get... I know there's been a lot of speculation about maybe we get Force Ghost Qui-Gon. Is there... I mean, Yoda was already supposed to teach Obi-Wan how to do that. Is that done? Is that still ongoing? Would we get some of that? I don't know if we can do that in 6 episodes, but
Boy, talking about some de-aging. Liam Neeson got old.
he's about to be in some action movie that comes out this summer.
Yeah, but it's
Just
not
slap
the
some
same.
long hair on him and a beard. He'll be fine.
Right.
Just for a minute, give him that nice dark brown Jedi look.
And I mean, he just needs to sit there and talk, so he'll be okay.
And he'll be like blued out, so yeah, that would be fine. I think that would be fine. So that's the Kenobi news. The other bit of awesomeness that came out yesterday was the Old Republic DLC.
Game looks good.
Legacy of the Sith. And I've never played the Old Republic online. I remember the original cinematic trailer for it with the massive Jedi Sith battle in, I think it was one of the old temples with Malgus, and it was just awesome. Or maybe it was with a different Sith, but this one we get Malgus and a couple Jedi, and it's a 6.5 minute trailer.
Yeah.
And they end up in this, it starts out with a young kid being sort of trained, or at least tested for Force sensitivity, and then taken off and trained, and then you skip ahead to Jedi or Padawan and Master trying to take down this maybe Sentinel, like a Sith Sentinel or something like that.
Yeah.
With a massive machine. The gyroscope machine behind him. It reminded me of like the gyroscopes in Jedi Fallen Order with like on Zepho.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminded me of, and maybe they're related.
Could be, yeah. And then we see them. Well, they take down the machine, and it's a holocron in there. So and it's a Jedi holocron. So that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. But then you get the Malgus introduction with the trying to twist the Padawan's thought process into the fact that she was chosen, her brother was left behind, and it ties into that whole indoctrination into painting the Jedi in a way that isn't as glamorous as many think, and that the Jedi Order is not as bright and shiny as maybe everyone's thought, led to believe. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend you go watch it. You can find it, I think, pretty much everywhere on YouTube. But I believe that was patched in yesterday, so I think that's live. So if you play the Old Republic, you can enjoy it now. And I'm almost tempted to go buy it off Steam, and because I think it's a standalone game with it, and then you play it on the servers. And I'm almost tempted to go buy it and play it, because who doesn't want to be bad in the world of Star Wars?
I feel like they have more fun, right?
I know when I played KOTOR,
I leaned a little to the dark side.
I definitely got grayed out. I was not the most appealing person to look at. in 2004 graphics. That's for sure. and when that game gets remade, when the remake comes out next year, I think, I will definitely be getting it and playing it.
Should be a lot of fun
For sure. Any more? I don't think we have any more news or notes.
No, I think
as far as that's concerned. So let's finish with toy and collectible discussions.
Ooh, yes.
I'll go first since yours is a bigger sort of
Go for it.
discussion point. So a couple new or relatively new Lego announcements. You got Boba's Throne Room Boba's Throne Room.
Looks like a cool piece also.
Which does look cool. It's like 800 pieces. Comes with 7 minifigs, and I believe the price tag on it's $99.99. So $100. The mini
feels like a lot of minifigs for that few pieces.
It's the price per piece is a little off, but they make up for it. I feel like with the amount of minifigs. Plus, it's supposed to be a new mold on Bib Fortuna's head, so they made him fat in his face, but they didn't make him fat in his body. But then we got, and I can't remember her name right now, but she's the sort of the pink dancer from the sort of band in the special edition.
Oh yeah.
She's getting her own minifigure, so that's the first time we've ever seen her. That's unique. We're getting Boba again. I don't think there's anything special about this Boba. We're getting Fennec, but without her helmet. We've got a why can't I think of his name?
Is it Gamorrean?
Keeley. Not Keeley. There's
one Gamorrean.
There is a Gamorrean. Why can I not think of the pirate's name? It's gonna kill me. Well, the other set we got, while I look up who the other minifig is, because it's gonna bother me, is the modified and Naboo Starfighter. So Mando's new fighter from Episode 5, unsurprisingly, is getting its own Lego set. It looks overall pretty good. I believe the price tag on that is going to be $70, so $69.99. Comes with a BD1, or like a new BD1, or actually, I guess it's the first BD1 that we've actually ever gotten. Then, because they never did many Jedi Fallen Order sets, we get Mando. We get what's Sedaris' name? I can't think of her name.
Pelimoto.
Thank you.
Pelimoto.
And who is the fourth?
Is there a pit droid?
I should have really. Who's the? Sorry, I'm gonna. Weequay is.
Oh, Weequay.
Weequay is the
I
other one,
known
and
that.
then you get a Quarren. Are the other two figs, and then the Naboo Starfighter. You get the. Let's see if I can pull it up on Twitter or Target.com here real quick. No, but you get another one. I don't remember what it is, but the build itself looks fine. It's not as detailed as some of the mocks that I've seen. The engines are maybe leave a bit to be desired, but overall to go along with the throne room from Mando season 2, and a couple of the other early sets that they've announced, like the helmets. Overall, pretty solid stuff. So, I will probably be getting multiples of both.
Yep.
One to play with, one to because the throne room is definitely a play set. So, it's something I can play with Connor, and again, same thing with the Starfighter. It'll definitely be playable, or play with it. So, and then a few will sit on my shelf for a while probably.
Yep.
Hold on to those. But yeah, that's pretty much Lego news. What fun stuff did you get today, actually?
Yeah, so I got a couple fun things. First stuff, I've got my they're coming out of the new wave of the Black Series figures. I've got the Leia in her Yavin outfit during the throne room scene, and then the single packs for Dr. Ezevan and Ponda Baba. Cool stuff. I was happy to get those single figs. I mean, I have them in the Cantina Showdown with Obi-Wan over there from a set last summer, but it was good to see these come out in single packs. And then the big ones came today. So speaking of HasLab, Rancor did not go, so I got that money back quickly. But my $350 Razor Crest from the Vintage Collection from HasLab came in today. Very excited about that. Haven't had time to unpack it yet. I will be unpacking it. It is definitely it's a massive box. Like the box comes up to my waist.
Well, and you have two of them.
Yeah, well, I got two of them.
Now, do they come as an actual ship, or is it just a pile of debris? Can it be broken down into a pile of debris?
You can't break it down that far. I think I saw in one of the unboxing videos inside the Grogu figure that comes with it, because one of them, it comes with him in his pram and it's carded figure in there. I believe in his carded figure there is the knob. So
cool.
You can take it down to the knob if you just want to have Din picking up the knob out of a diorama set. Pretty cool. But overall, really, really cool piece. If you are interested in that, go check out the unboxing video that Hasbro posted for it, and many others. And I will have to do my own personal unboxing stuff when I get it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. It comes with a Mando, a Jawa with their egg from Arvala 7, and then Grogu with his pram, along with multiple carbonite bounties, escape pod attachment that pops out for the Razor Crest, and then all of his utility, like his guns.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff
the
like
armory,
that.
the fully stocked armory.
So really, really cool piece. Looking forward to unpacking it. They're going for like $700 on the second market already.
Unsurprising, yeah, double the price.
At least double price, if not more, from some people. A lot of people are posting for much more than that. I mean, this is a product that people might complain that people are scalping because they're just coming out, so to speak.
Well, but it's not scalping because you can't get it.
You can't get it anywhere.
It's effectively a retired product.
Yeah,
at this point.
And not just that, but they make them to order.
Mm-hmm.
So if you order it, it'll be made.
Mm-hmm.
So for all those people that want to complain about the price hike in these items, imagine if you stuck $350 in the price in the stock market. You hope to, if in a year and a half, you hope to double that money. I mean, ideally, if not, see a considerable gain on it, right?
Well, and they could have backed it themselves.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. But like, I mean, from just an investment standpoint, I mean, like I gave Hasbro $700 16 months ago.
Drop in the bucket.
And
compared to
the money's gone.
Right, exactly. It's a sunk cost.
It's sunk cost.
Yep.
It's gone. So like, if the product comes in and I decide I want to double price one so I can pay for my other one, that's the cost of collecting, really. So for
or so you could buy 6 Black Chrysanthemums. Series Fix.
So yeah, we could talk about that announcement also.
But real quick, the other minifig in the Starfighter, unsurprisingly, is Grogu. So you
yes,
that's
Grogu.
Should have guessed that.
Why did we guess that?
I almost guessed Grogu. Anyways.
Super excited to get those in. HasLab came through in a big way. I mean, the people that have unboxed it and the videos I see, it looks phenomenal. The detailing is so good. It's worth the money, according to everybody.
I saw Adam Savage did an unboxing video of his, because he actually worked on a bunch of the prequel stuff. He's a huge nerd, right? And I just saw the thumbnail of the YouTube video that he made, and it looks stunning.
Yeah.
It just looks absolutely stunning. It makes me regret not getting one myself, though I don't know where I would put it.
I don't even know where I'm gonna have to hang it from the ceiling somewhere, because the ship is massive. Like, the ship is like 3 feet long. Like, it is a massive ship. So, not sure where I'm gonna go with it yet, but I'm gonna find somewhere. Like I said, super excited about that. And then we did get a couple announcements from Hasbro this week. They already went up for pre-order. So if you missed them, I'm sorry.
They're already sold out?
Well, one of them is. Cad Bane from Bad Batch went up today on Amazon. Sold out in like...
How many did you get?
7 minutes.
I would like to get one.
Yeah, I got 2.
Oh, so not enough.
But I'm sure I can share.
Can I have him on the weekends?
Yeah, right. I almost just like I almost just ordered 5, which I'm sure other people did because Amazon does not limit stuff. So
It's an Amazon pre-order.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And I didn't really think about sharing that info with you earlier.
yeah. Thanks for holding out on that one.
I mean, to be fair,
that's really kind of you.
the only Black Series figures you have are the ones that I've given you personally, I think.
No, I bought the entire Rebels set myself.
Oh, you did.
I did
Yes.
pay for those.
Yes, you did. Yes.
But yes, all the other like I've got the 20th anniversary Obi-Wan in the Phantom Menace card back from Celebration that you were so kind to bring me back one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I had to beg for that, by the way. No,
I don't do the action figures. Although I do have a few George Lucas Stormtroopers coming on May 4th.
That is really
which I'm looking forward to.
That's a cool figure coming out. But yeah, so CAD got announced. Really cool announcement. Everybody was very excited about that. So he'll go into the Bad Batch line for the New Wave boxes when he comes out, probably in 2 years at this point.
Him?
No, that's the Clone Wars one.
Oh, that's the Clone Wars one, yeah.
Yeah, the Bad Batch will have a maroon one. I mean, it's sold out, so I don't know if the link's going to be available at all. But so they'll go in the New Wave boxes for the Bad Batch, like I said. And then we did get announcements for the comic line. They've been pretty steady making some of those recently. They made 4 of them last year, I think. We got the Darth Maul with the robotic legs. We got
You got Jax.
Yeah, we got Jax and Kirkanos, and then who was the last one? Luke. There was a Luke. Yeah.
Luke.
But they're expanding that line. Looks like we're gonna get 4 more of them announced this year. But the first one was Black Chrysanthemum, and he looks rough. It's all I've seen for the last 3 days in my collecting groups, outside of the Razor Crests coming in and getting sold. People are not happy. Just the fact that they knew that this character was coming to the universe, because they had to have known. And then they made this concept art, and then the box looks cool, but like they didn't remold the figure, so it's just a Chewie mold that is obviously painted black and with He-Man armor on.
Yeah.
So
that armor does not look good.
Doesn't even have his like knuckles, Like I'm like.
His new canon.
No.
It's coming with the Bowcaster, which I realize is comic.
Right. I mean, he is comic accurate for the most part. The problem with that is not enough people read the comics to understand that. Mm-hmm. And they just saw this character in the show and thought he was really cool. And he doesn't look like the guy from the show. Mm-hmm. So people are really up in arms around that one, which, fair. I mean, I get the complaint. So, but he goes up for pre-order, I believe, Thursday. So
what are the chances that they change the mold slightly or change the coloring, like to include some of the gray streaks and stuff like that to make him look at least somewhat more like what you see in Book of Boba?
It's possible, because the one they had obviously is just a concept figure that they had. It looked like it was complete, but they may add some paint apps to it. It's possible. I just don't think they will. I mean, they'll save it for another figure.
You know why? Because people such as yourself are still going to buy it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm still going to buy the dang thing. It looks not great, though. So, but, I mean, I'll still pick it. I'll pick one up. Mm-hmm. If it was the Chrysanthemum from Book of Boba, I'd pick like 5 because everyone's going to want him. Mm-hmm. So, but that's not what we're getting.
They could give him his own show, and that would probably be amazing.
Yeah, we wouldn't even be able to understand what he was saying, and we would still watch it. Yeah.
He would just communicate through eyebrow raises and punches, and
totally fine. Totally fine. But yeah, that's really all the toy news I have. I mean, there was other vintage collection figures that went up this week. I
saw Miggs was coming out.
Yeah, Miggs came out, Casca Reeves came out, and then Axel Wove came out for the vintage collection. Those were all pre-ordered Tuesday. the 15th.
So yesterday.
So they were tough to get also because Target sold out real quick on those.
As a Target exclusive.
I don't know if they're Target. I personally don't. I don't do a lot of vintage stuff.
Oh, right.
But I did get a Casca and Axel.
So no MiGs to go with your Razor Crest.
No MiGs. He was really he was only on
Oh no, the Razor Crest was
once.
blown. The Razor Crest was blown up at that point. It would have gone better with the Slave
The
one.
Slave one, yeah. Which I don't have a vintage collection. Oh yes, I do. Just kidding. From the Mandalorian. But yeah, overall, it was a good week for collectors. I mean, and Razor Crests are going out to everybody right now, so really cool stuff going out, and I can't wait to open it. I'll show everybody on Twitter.
Yes, please do an unboxing video so we can share that.
Yeah,
or at least take some like short videos and take some pictures, so that way you can enjoy it at least. I mean, you do have two. You can unbox one.
Yeah, the other one, like I said, like the whole reason for getting two of those was just so I can pay for. Yeah. Hopefully, I can have a Razor Crest for free. Mm-hmm. That's the goal. That's the end goal.
Well, it just pays for both.
That's how I save my money.
Right.
Like that's how I afford this.
Right. You just net zero.
This lavish. Yeah.
I mean, you just net zero because you spend $700. You sell one for $700. It's a net zero.
Yeah. I buy enough to sell so I can pay for the one I keep.
Right.
So, boy, it's a busy life.
Well, keeping up with all the announcements is just.
Yeah. I mean,
insane.
I think I said it the other week on, I did when we did an in review, you know, like hundreds of figures have been announced for just this one line in the last 2 years, hundreds. And then the price hike recently up to like exclusives went up to $27.99 versus regular figures are $22 or $24.99, and deluxes are $32.99. So the price keeps going up. They're like just piling figures out. It's getting rough. Mm-hmm. I mean, and hopefully they continue making the line because I love the line, obviously, but it's getting tough, especially if they keep just rehashing the same mold. It's going to get real rough because people like me that love having the characters, I'm going to like even Cad Bane. Cad Bane's different. Like I would obviously want him from the Bad Batch, but if I get another situation where I've got the exact same figure in a different box, it's not like I'm gonna have a hole. Mm-hmm. I say that, but there's no way I'm gonna let there be a hole. Not if it's on one of the image boxes, but if it's like in a card back, like a 40th anniversary card back that's the exact same as something over there, I'll probably skip the box with the artwork on the side, and I'll probably go with the card back because I already have the 2 full sets of 40th anniversary ones behind you.
Oh, yes.
So, like, when that comes out for Return of the Jedi, I know Endor, Luke, and Leia and Han are going to get put out there again, but I'm going to buy each one of them because it's going to be on the 40th card back that I'm going to have. And, of course, I'm going to get another Boba.
Naturally.
Probably 4. Anyway, but that's the collecting news and notes from this week. And yeah, if you want to hear about anything else in the Star Wars world for collecting, please let us know. Outside of Lego and Hasbro, there's not a ton out there outside of, Funko, which we haven't talked about, and nothing really is coming out or been announced recently for that. So, in the Star Wars world at least. But if you have anything out there that you want us to talk about, or especially if you want to talk about some more vintage type items, I'd love to do that. But
touch base with us on the social media.
Yeah, touch base on Twitter.
You can find us. We'll put the links in the show notes to our various accounts. Be sure to reach out and touch base with us if you want to talk about that. But yeah, I think we'll start to wrap up there.
Yeah. As always, if you after you're done listening to us, if you have other fandoms that you really enjoy listening to and discussing. Go check out our sister podcast over at Galactic Dads. They do a great job covering all things Marvel, Star Trek, DC, all things comics, games, dad life, and beyond. So they do a great job over there. So give them a listen if you if you fancy some time there.
Yeah, at Galactic Dads on all the socials and pretty much on every podcasting platform.
Yep.
They do a great job over there. So as we come to a close on our episode, we want to thank you again for listening. If you're so inclined and you enjoy the content, please feel free to share it on your various social media platforms of choice.
Wait, rate us on Spotify.
Yeah.
Gotta get the ratings up
Yeah,
there.
if you're listening to us on Spotify, you can give us a rating now, and then on Apple, I know you can do ratings and reviews. So we'd appreciate it if you'd give us some feedback. That it helps us kind of craft the show and make changes as necessary. So in the coming weeks, we'll probably dive more into the comics like we talked about, and maybe even get an interview or two. Down the line, fingers crossed. So,
Looking forward to the new stuff. I mean, we got all kinds of time now between shows, so.
Yeah, and we just had the new High Republic book come out. Fallen Star came out. Well, I guess it's been a month now, but I got my copy only 2 weeks ago. So much for pre-ordering, but it's signed and it's one of like 500 copies. So,
brag a little bit more.
I will.
Tell me about it.
It came from England.
Okay.
But anyways, so yeah, really looking forward to talking about that stuff here in the next few weeks, at least number of weeks leading up to Kenobi, May 25th. So
yeah, the day before celebration,
mm-hmm. And it happens to be the 45th anniversary of A New Hope.
Yep.
Releasing. So
we're gonna figure out where we're gonna watch it that day.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be in Anaheim, and I'm
just gonna lock my hotel room and just probably watch it in the bathroom or something like that.
Send the wife and kids out.
That's right.
Like, we're just gonna watch this TV show together.
Go to California Adventure. No, I don't want to miss that. So
yeah,
you're right. We'll have to figure that out.
I'm sure they'll have watch parties somewhere. They got to.
They're already talking about it in the Anaheim.
All the celebration.
I mean, given that we don't
groups.
know if what's going on, that'll probably be the highlight as watching Kenobi, since we don't know who's coming. But yeah. Anyways, look, a lot of good content to dive into here over the next couple months as we lead into Kenobi. So with that, for Jedi John, I'm Obi Sean, and until next time,
may the Force be with you.